it's Julia. In my last video, I showed how I made this little needle book. And inside of it, I made a little notebook for it. Now this notebook is made out of, I scanned the image, but this is the image that I scanned. And I picked this up at the flea market a couple of years ago, and I don't know if it's old or what the age is on it, but it has an old looking graphic. I just really love it, and it's in very good condition. There was just a few of the needles that were missing. It has the little needle threader. It's just really sweet. And so I scanned the image, and then I created the little notebook. And I had several of you mention and just asked about this, and so I thought I'm going to make this a free printable for you. It's going to be linked down below. It's in my website. It's on my website, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. I have mine printed out, and I went ahead and printed both the inside and the outside of it. And I don't have any white cardstock, so I used a cream colored cardstock, but you know, it's a little bit duller. And so if you used a white cardstock, I think you're going to get closer to this color. So I'm just going to share, I mean, this is real basic, but share how I'm going to put this together using really just scraps. I have a couple tea-dyed pieces here, a piece of a notebook, things that I, just ends when I make my other journals that I save. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's get started. The first step after you have it printed out is to cut it out. And I'm just going to fussy cut this going around that outer edge. Both my pieces are cut out, and now it's on to the gluing. And I am using a glue stick for this, and this is a heavy bond glue stick. I'm going to link everything down below for you if you want to use exactly what I have. But I'm going around both edges. I really want to get the edges good, and then I am also going to be putting some in the center. I will be sewing this, but that is optional. This glue will hold those edges together so you don't have to stitch at all. I just thought stitching is appropriate for this project because it is sewing themed. Getting everything just really pressed down well with my fingers. And I will be setting this aside so it completely dries before I take it to my sewing machine. I have noticed that there's just some of the edges showing, so I am going to cut that off first. When I'm at my sewing machine and when I'm sewing on paper, I do not put in a new needle because the needle's going to get dull. I use just a dull needle or just whatever's in my machine at the time. And I also set my stitch length a little bit longer. I usually have it at a three marking on my particular sewing machine. It's all sewn now, and I'm just going to ink these edges, and that helps take care of any of that cardstock that's showing, that cream colored or white colored, that edges that are showing. I'm using just my Distress ink in a ground espresso, and I'm using one of those Tim Holtz blending tools just to get that ink on. Again, everything will be listed down below for you. Just going down around the edges, and then I also flip it over and do the other side as well. This had a little bit of natural distressing on it, especially on the fold. But I mean, just adding a little bit is really going to help just blend everything together. And now I'm going to fold it right on that fold line. I do have my bone folder here that I'm pressing it, and mine did crack, and actually the original one was cracked as well. And so I figured it wasn't going to matter a whole lot. Again, adding some Distress ink to both sides of that crease. You may want to experiment, maybe not to do the heavy cardstock for both sides of this. This got pretty pretty thick with the both cardstock. And maybe even copy paper would work for, since you're going to be doubling it. You know, you might want to just play around with it. Just using my bone folder there again and just getting everything all pressed down. Now onto the pages. I just have, like I said, just things left over from other projects. I save my little ends, and I'm folding these. Some of them are already folded. Like this one I believe is already folded, so I'm just going to go with it. And this one is a piece of tea dyed paper, and I decided I could get 2 out of it. So I am just going to rip this in half and get 2 pages or 2 papers. You're going to want a total of 10 papers, or that's what I use, and it just seems to work pretty well. A total of 10 papers, which is going to give you 20 papers or pages, which will give you 40 fronts and backs. Once they're all folded, I'm just figuring out how I want them arranged. I just try to get not all the ruled papers together, or not all the one colors together. Just kind of like to mix it up. Getting it inside really close to the spine, and then making a mark where I want to cut these. And this is my favorite way to cut, just with my metal ruler and a snap-off X-Acto knife. Finding the center there and really getting that tight in the crease. And then folding it back. And that really helps with getting those punches right in that center crease. I did mark 5 little holes there. Probably don't need 5 holes in this small of a little booklet, although my pages aren't all the same size, and I want at least 3 stitches in each of my pages, and so the 5 holes work well. I have a large holed needle here and some heavier cord. I go up through the middle and then go to the next hole, and then down into that very last hole on the top, and then back again. And this is my long stitch. There's going to be 1 long stitch in the middle, and then out again, and then back on the bottom hole. Here's where I noticed my stitch was getting a little loose, so I just tightened that up. And here I'm just trying to get that needle back so that there's going to be a string on both sides of that long stitch. And then I'm going to tie a knot so that long stitch is right in the center of this knot. And that completes the little book. Super simple. Just going to clip that thread. And one final press here with my bone folder. And here's just ruffling through, and it fits so cute in this little pocket. I have some pictures here at the end. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a chance to go over and make a copy of the scans that I've provided for you. They are a JPEG, so you should be able to manipulate them. If you want to make them bigger or smaller, you can do that. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.